Imagine waking up to find your home completely gone, bulldozed by an HOA that didn't even have jurisdiction. That's exactly what happened to me. They thought I'd roll over and beg. Instead, I reached for the one thing they never saw coming: control of the water supply that kept their 2,000 cattle alive. And when I turned the valve, the entire valley knew the war had just begun. I had lived peacefully on my grandfather's land for years, a small ranch house handed down through generations, sitting right by the creek that fed not just our ranch, but half the valley's farms. I knew the HOA nearby had been eyeing the land for years, talking about redevelopment and community growth. But my house wasn't in their HOA. It wasn't under their control. Or so I thought. The morning I came back from a supply run, dust clouds filled the air. My stomach dropped. Where my home once stood, nothing but rubble and splintered wood remained. And parked right in the middle of it all was a bright white truck with HOA enforcement stamped on the side. Standing tall on the wreckage was none other than Karen, the HOA president herself, clipboard in hand, shouting at contractors like she owned the place. I stormed toward her, fists clenched. "What the hell do you think you're doing? This is my land!" She didn't even flinch. According to community guidelines, this structure was unsafe. We're within our rights. Community guidelines? I'm not even in your HOA. Her smug smile could have curdled milk. That's what you think. This land is in our expansion zone now. You should have attended the meeting. The audacity nearly knocked me flat. They had bulldozed my house illegally and thought a few sheets of paper gave them the right? But here's the thing Karen didn't know. My grandfather hadn't just left me the land. He left me the creek rights. That little ribbon of water flowing past the property was legally ours, and through a network of pipes and irrigation channels, it fed directly into the HOA's massive cattle operation. Over 2,000 cows that needed water daily. And when I turned the valve, the entire valley knew the war had just begun. That night, as the contractors packed up and Karen strutted back to her SUV, I walked down the valve, hidden behind an old cedar post. I ran my hands over the cool steel wheel, memories flooding back of my grandfather teaching me how to maintain the water flow. "This creek is life," he'd say. "As long as you control the water, you control the valley." I tightened the valve. Once, twice. The metal groaned, and then the water slowed, then stopped. The creek bed trickled to silence. The next morning, chaos erupted. Ranchers screamed as their troughs sat empty. Cattle bawled in the heat. The HOA board scrambled, demanding answers. And Karen? She stormed down my dirt road in high heels, red-faced, clipboard shaking in her hand. "You've cut off our water! You can't do this!" she screeched. "Oh, I can," I said, leaning against the fence post, arms folded. "Because unlike you, Karen, I actually have the legal rights to it. You demolished my house? Fine. Now let's see how long your empire lasts without water." Her face twisted with fury, but behind her eyes, I saw it. Fear. She'd picked the wrong fight. Karen had always been loud, but that morning when the HOA's ranchers realized their troughs were bone dry, her screaming echoed across the valley like a banshee. She stormed toward me with the full board in tow, men in polo shirts, women in oversized sunglasses, all clutching clipboards like they were weapons. "You've sabotaged us! This is illegal!" she screeched, waving her paperwork like it meant something. I leaned on the fence post, cool as the morning air. "Illegal? You bulldozed my house. You stepped onto my land. You stole my property. The only thing illegal here is you." The sheriff arrived not long after, lights flashing red and blue across the dusty road. Karen's face lit up. She thought her cavalry had arrived. But when Sheriff Dalton stepped out, he didn't walk toward her. He came straight to me. "Morning, son," Dalton said, tipping his hat. "Heard you closed the creek?" "Sure did," I said. "They tore down my house without so much as a warrant. You know that stream is mine, Sheriff. Been in my family's deed since 1903. Dalton nodded slowly. "And I've seen the papers. Creek's yours, fair and square." "What? He's starving 2,000 cattle. He's endangering our community investment. You have to arrest him." The sheriff turned, adjusting his belt. "Karen, if anyone's getting arrested today, it's the one who ordered a demolition without authority. You destroyed a man's home." Her face went red, then purple. The rest of the HOA board shuffled uncomfortably, muttering excuses. But this wasn't just about revenge anymore. I wasn't going to let them spin this into another HOA power move. So I reached into my truck and pulled out a weathered leather binder, my grandfather's old documents. "These aren't just creek rights," I said, flipping it open for everyone to see. "This here is the original covenant. Every water line that runs through this valley passes through my land. You don't just need me for the cows, you need me for everything." The crowd went silent. The ranchers who'd once bowed to Karen's orders suddenly looked at me with a new kind of respect. One of the board members spoke nervously. "Surely we can negotiate." "Negotiate?" I cut him off. "You demolished my house. You trespassed on my land. You laughed in my face. There's no negotiation. From today forward, you don't get a single drop of water unless you pay. Double." Karen lost it. She lunged at me with clipboard raised like she was about to swing. My pit bull Rex growled low, stepping forward. Sheriff Dalton caught her by the arm before she made her full fool of herself. "That's enough," Dalton barked. "Karen, you've overstepped for the last time." Within days, the HOA ranch collapsed. Cows bawled in the dry heat, ranchers scrambled to truck in water, and Karen's board fractured under the pressure. Word spread fast. The HOA president destroyed a man's home, then lost 2,000 cattle because she underestimated him. Me? I rebuilt. Stronger, taller. A new log cabin rose on the ashes of the old one, this time with steel beams and reinforced walls. Every night I sat on the porch with Rex at my feet, watching the sunset, while the sound of the trickling creek reminded me who held the true power. The HOA never recovered. Karen faced charges for unlawful demolition, and when the fines stacked higher than the cattle pens she used to boast about, she vanished from the valley. And as for me, I didn't just win. I inherited the whole board's loyalty. One by one, ranchers came to me, not Karen, asking for water contracts. By winter, I controlled the valley. They demolished my home, and I built an empire on their downfall.